have pleasure in welcoming Professor Sankar Kumar Acharya, Professor and former head, Department of Agricultural Extension, Vidhan Chandra Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, ECKV, Mohanpur, West Bengal, India. So looking into the profile of Dr. Acharya, Professor Acharya started his career as assistant professor at VCM in 1998. Professor Acharya is the winner of Certificate of Merit for standing first in first class in his MSc Agri academic career in agricultural extension. He did his PhD in modeling modernization of agriculture and is internationally acclaimed for his unique research domain of social entropy and energy metabolism, social ecology and environmental sociology, enterprise ecology framework, farm stewardship, the transition from conservation technology socialization process, and the social ecology of livelihood. All these have tremendous policy as well as scholastic importance. Research publications 193 in national and international journals, book publication 89 books. He is an expert member of WWF projects in BTR, that is Buksa Tiger Research Project. He is an expert member of DAF ID project on primary education. And he has delivered 17 keynote addresses in national and international conferences, chaired 17 sessions. He has so far been awarded with 9 Best Paper Awards. He was organizing secretary of 2 international conferences jointly organized by Department of Agricultural Extension, VCKB, West Bengal, and Krishi Sanskriti, New Delhi. He has also been honored to be selected as the convener of panel entitled The Hunger, Poverty and Silence of IUAES, University of Manchester, UK, 2013. He is co-program chair of ICAR and World Bank funded project on conservation agriculture. He organized successfully guided also on good membership of the.
Okay, very good afternoon. How are you all? How are you, my dear friends?
Fine, sir.
Great. And Renisha is there, madam?
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
Okay. So, it's my pleasure to deliver on this great occasion a keynote address. Thank you for selecting the keynote speakers and for being invited, the I managers, and taking such a great initiative on a very emerging areas, that is mathematical modeling. And my previous speaker, Dr. Rizwan, I think, from Oman, nicely he has delineated how mathematically we can develop the model, what are the reliability, how we can calculate the BG time, and how we can standardize it. But I have got a different genre of that concept. I have a different genre of area. Basically, it's an area of Indian agriculture, Indian farming, and the entropy and chaos in Indian agriculture, the need of research and modeling social entropy. Sometimes with me, that is Dr. N.K. Sharma. He was my PhD scholar, now assistant professor. So it was a research work, PhD work, and after that, another couple of PhD has been organized on this aspect. But I think that some inquisitive mind may ask me, what is the relationship between entropy and agriculture or social sciences and kind? And that is how the importance of mathematical modeling. I believe in trust. I am an ardent worker in creating the models. Only mathematical modeling can help us to connect, to integrate apparently discrete ideas and processes into an integrated system so that we can study ultimately the system behavior. And this is a very, very important area. And it is not that visible in Indian aspect Dr. Kenneth Bell from California, he initiated the process of research in social entropy. And I don't find, I'm not speaking about our agricultural extension, even in the bigger area of social sciences, researches as carried out in India, I don't find that much of references over it. So this work can be one of the leading, I think, social science researches in India and from this continent. I am just straight into it. Despite of incredible success of technology revolution in agriculture, we have the story of unhappiness. And you know that amongst what you call your 80% of the farmers are owners of small and marginal farmers. These are fragmented holding in India with a fragile economy. Most of them are disillusioned and adding to the tally of migrant workers. Indian agriculture is typified with kind of contradictions. We have one of the highest land under agriculture in the world. At the same time, we have one of the highest agriculture practitioners or farmers to own this land under operation, of which 80% of the farmers are small and marginal. Another important thing is that these are not only small and marginal, these holdings, these are fragmented. 140 million holdings are there, and 143 million hectares of the lands are managed under uncertainty of income and livelihood. I'm sorry to say that almost 14 crores of the families, that is 140 million holdings, they are providing the food security for 100, what you call your 1300 million of population. Food security, nutritional security are at their hand. But unfortunately, you said, this is the reality. Most of them are small and marginal, almost 1 hectare, 1.4 hectares size of holdings are there. So the source of entropy, I'm coming later on this, the uncertainty for Indian farming is that the lands are small and they are fragmented, and you know that the production system is managed under extreme uncertainty. We consume food every day, every hour, even. Food, taking grains every morning, and the producer of the food waits for the price for months and years, maybe. It's one of the contradiction or chaos in Indian farming. Those who are providing food to us 3-4 hours or 1 hour every interval, but the producers of the food, they have to wait for months and years together for their income to accrue to achieve to have their income and enough to fuel frustrations and aggressions. Because this is the world's largest unorganized scattered production system in an almost open air, which are supposed to provide the food all. If food is not there, no mathematics, no statistics, no computer, nothing else. If food is there, then everything is okay, fine, great. But unfortunately, this huge production sector of the world, sustaining almost 55 to 60% of the India's population, and they are running under extreme uncertainty because who are providing everyday food, they have to wait for their income for months and beyond. Indian farmers are expected to ensure food and nutritional security of 1,300 million people, producing almost 285 million tons of food grain annually. And they are suffering from serious insecurity of income and livelihood. No organized market is there to welcome them. No assured price is there to welcome them. Every cost in agriculture is spiking every day, it is increasing, and real income is declining and uncertain. Before modeling anything, my dear friends, you have to isolate and identify what are the source of uncertainty. Yes, every production system has got uncertainty, risk, hazards, disasters, success, achievement. But unless we can trace out the point of uncertainty, perhaps we can't go for any modeling over it. Unfortunately, in agricultural research, is this part not taken care of that punch. Only piecemeal works so far have been done. So we have to go for a new realm of research wherein we can find that how best there can be model, where income will be ensured, production will be ensured, security will be ensured when we are surrounded by uncertainty of climate and weather. Mind that agriculture is an open air production system. It is not a kind of organized production system. So in an open air system means all kind of uncertainties are there. How? It is amazing to think that these farmers for the last 10,000 years almost, they are providing food security to the civilization. We have a decent improvement, although we have got some decent improvement. 1965-66, we could produce, before that we could produce 55 to 60 million tons. But during 1970s, we started producing 120 million tons. Now we are producing close to 300 million tons of food grains. It's a quantum jump. Mind that, my dear friends, there is also quantum jump in the population. There is also quantum decline in the availability of the land. During 1960-65, the per capita availability of the land was 5 hectares, 3 to 5 hectares. Now it has dwindled down to, you just see, 1.4 hectares of the 1.5 hectares of the holding site, and per capita availability further low. It is just close to 0.8 hectares. So with this dwindling availability of land resources and the huge quantum jump in population, a contradiction is inviting us and to go for a befitting models. The reserve of groundwater is fast dwindling. The uncertainty is further added and aggravated by the extractions of the groundwater. We are having 433 cubic kilometers of the groundwater reserve. But if this way we go on depleting groundwater or irrigation water and to support the urban population and to the other, that citizen services, by 2040, we are only having 125 cubic kilometers of the water reserve. So from 430 cubic kilometer of the groundwater reserve, we have to succumb to only 125 cubic kilometer of water. With this groundwater reserve, we have to support, that if it is 135 crores of population right now, you just see it will well cross the 150 crores or 1500 million of population. So don't worry, lot of models are waiting for you. How, as we are now, complying with fighting with COVID-19, no one knows that the 31st December, and this is the 7-8 months, almost 20 million people gone down and so many millions are infected. This was the extreme example of uncertainty thrown to us. And of course, we are struggling hard to have a model, a mathematical model to calculate the rate of infectivity and what is the best time to have the blessings of a vaccine. Of course, we are strongly relying on mathematical models. It is getting increasingly loaded by heavy metal toxicity. Not only the amount of water is getting reduced, but it is being intoxicated by heavy metals. 43% of the Punjab, Haryana areas, the groundwaters are extremely contaminated. In West Bengal, only 120 plus blocks the groundwater under the clutch of arsenic contaminations. So it is not only the decline of the groundwater, availability of the groundwater, at the same time, it is only decline, serious decline of the quality of the groundwater. The groundwater reserves are the source to quench the thirst of the plant, as good or as worse as the quench the thirst of the people and livestock. So we have to be very careful. Again, one source of uncertainty is coming from the groundwater status. Another source of decline and decadence or chaos, we must say, 8 to 9 tons of delicious topsoils per hectare are eroded. It is not, I'm sorry to say that it is not now 8 to 9 tons. It is 15 to 16 tons per hectare per year. Topsoils are eroded due to wrong mechanizations, precipitation, the rainfalls hitting the surface, and denudations of the land surfaces, and deforestation and unplanned urbanization. All are generously contributing to the erosions of the soil and driving us to the uncertainty domains again further. So we don't know whether the predicted productivity will be there. We need 400 million tons of food grains to be produced within 25 years. But we are not sure what kind of models will help us to reduce the soil erosion, to increase the productivity, to reserve the groundwater, to improve the genetic productivity, to improve the human dietary habit. So we have to depend on mathematical modeling. But before that, we have to identify the source of uncertainties and chaos being added and contributed to characterize what we call the mega system of entropy or uncertainties are coming. Another is source of uncertainty being inflicted into the agricultural production system is that against 1 degree Celsius change in the nocturnal temperature, the increase in the nocturnal temperature, night temperature, 20% of that rice, I think it will be, for wheat, the production loss will be 20%, and for rice, it will be 12%. The productivity will go down if the night temperature shoots up to 1 degree Celsius just. Then the productivity, because serious deleterious impact on the physiological behavior, reproductive behavior of the crop. Again, another source of uncertainty, decline, decadence, risks are infected onto the production system. What kind of models we need to have and prediction and projection we need to have. We don't know whether we'll be able to produce 400 million tons of food grains by 2050, $1 million question. If you fail, there will be series of famines, not only this part of India, but all over the planet. My good audiences from USA or Oman or any part of the world, by 2050, we have to sustain and support 9 billion plus population. We need to enhance and increase our present food productivity from the present benchmark. Over it, we have to increase the productivity 60% more. So we don't know how best we can have it. Considering that global warming is there, considering that coastal lines are being engulfed by saline water or brackish water, and sea level is rising, considering that temperature is supposed to change in a positive direction, considering that insect-based behavior will be changing, considering that food habit will be changing, considering that the human beings are not only the inhabitant of this good earth, there are millions and billions of livestock. In India, there are as more as that 80,000 plus plant animal diversities, 55,000 plus plant biodiversities, 1,200 plus that only the birds diversities, 26,000 plus insect diversities, and good. So they are also the stakeholder for this ecosystem functioning. If the ecological resilience of perturbations experiences perturbations and disruptions, you just see what is there. Sea level is rising and 3 to 4 millimeter every year, and it will swallow 30% of the coastal lines only in India out of the 7,600. Most of our farms run with energy prodigal manner. Yes? Am I audible, my dear friends? My dear friends?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Are you enjoying it? Is it audible?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the brilliant questions from you after my deliberation is over. Most of our farms run with energy prodigal manner. Another disruptions, I'm just trying to catch up. the comprehensive domain of the source of entropy can be physical, biological, social, and economic. Most of the forms are done. The simple example is that whenever we are producing some rice, gehu, wheat, or maize, you are just spending 25,000 kilocalorie of joules of energy, 25,000 joules of energy. This is fictitious. I'm just giving for analogy part. In the form of fertilizer, in the form of human labor, in the form of water depleted from the underground status. You are adding, spending 25,000, say, kilojoules of what they call your energy. And you're producing, say, for example, say, 5 quintals of wheat from the same volume of area. Yes. So if you are in the form of 5 quintals of wheat, say, if you translate into energy equivalent, it can be, say, close to 15,000 kilos. So 15,000 you are harvesting in the form of photosynthesis, but you are spending 25,000 calories per unit, agricultural ecology. What would happen? The ecology will suffer an energy imbalances. It is a negative energy balances. So that will again go on adding to a kind of disorders in the ecological system. Our farmers, again, the social aspect is gradually disillusioned. More the cost of production and less in income from the agriculture. No organized market is there as such. So 42% of the farmers, they are really disillusioned and they are ready to quit agriculture. How long the 348 million hungry people shall remain quiet and coiling? One of my scholars says working of hunger, poverty, and silence. So you just say 348 million hungry people shall remain quiet and coiling. This is very interesting. And I'm taking that Ananda might be hearing. That is the 3 important areas are there: hunger, poverty, and silence. Is it the social entropy being contributed by through these co-integrations of people are hungry because they are poor? People are silent. That's they are poor and hungry both. A model being developed. Is it that it is not the money, it is not the technology, it is the psychic domain and disorder which is driving them to a hecatomb of silence? And that's why they are hungry, they are poor. They are hungry because they are poor, and they are silent, that's why they are both hungry and poor. Social metabolism is heading for a conflicting reality across the planet, and hunger is the worst denial to humanity. Yes, you just say, if the society is not stable, how could you stabilize ecology? No matter what is the model around, first we have to stabilize the society. We have to stabilize the social ecology. We have to audit on what is the social entropy amount and volume, which is go on disturbing and distorting the social function and socio-ecological resilience. Otherwise, I think no kind of model will work. And you know that, and another model is that in a adoption rejection model. Farmers, a classical cliches of extension. My dear extension scientists, we have to get rid of these cliches. It is not just adoption gap. It is a blend of adoption, rejection, a plasma stage of resorption process, wherein we can that farmers or any persons perhaps in this world, they are in a contemplation and thought process. While we are modeling social or psychological entropy, we have to keep it in our mind that whenever one is rejecting, he is adopting, or he is in between, as a Prochaska's models. And the previous, I am just getting adoptions, rejections, in between there is resorption, just like a redox process. When one is oxidized, it is reducing others also. So it is a resorption process. In a farmers or in any society, whenever if an individual is responding to in a positive way, at the same same time, is supposed to respond to another thing in a negative way, stage of interactions to form a diode of rejections or rejection. Yes. So my request is that please don't add any new order before looking into the old disorder. In West Bengal situations, it is a socio-political situations. A lot of researches are there why 34 years of left regime gone by. There are a lot of successes. Still, one reason is that as we have identified, scholars, series of scholars, they are working on it. It is not, it is a socio-political interest, mathematical modeling interest. We find that the peoples who are promised that this should be done, in the beginning, they can't understand, they are happy. In the middle, for first 10 years, they are happy. Next 10 years, they keep asking questions. Last 10 years, they are not getting the responses and answers. So it was a kind of disillusionment inflicted into their mind, and the regime gone by. It is a very typical, those who are interested to work in social entropy, they now come here and they can find that a lot of disorders, entropies, conflicts are there, and they can find a lot of inputs in social science modeling and researches. Now, the second part of my deliberation is that what did I do way back, say 15 years ago? I started working on it with my MSc scholar, Tanushree. And she was given this topic, that social entropy. After that, Dr. Sharma, because at the time, Mr. Sharma joined under my guidance. I told him that you better go through the thermodynamics second law. This is a perfect blend between physics and sociology. I don't like to have a lot of derivatives and that formula. I'm sorry, I can drag you there because you'll feel bored. I want to better take you to the very aspect of the issues of modeling. And here, social entropy will be a kind of analogy. It is not a sacrosanct to apply the enthalpy entropy model, but that and work done, there is a gap. And amount and energy will be left unutilized or uncounted for. And then what would be in a confined volume? The molecules will be hitting with each other and will be being added with kind of disorder or disruptions. And this is the basic classical model across the world, that path-breaking models. That is the two closed system, heat transfer and etc. One is reversible, the other is irreversible. That is the del Q by T. And this is very much important. Thermodynamic entropy is denoted by a symbol S. ds greater than del Q by T means the entropy, and Q is the heat, T is the temperature of the system. The difference in two entropy states, S1 and S2. So what is the amount of entropy? S2 minus S1. It is an irreversible process. Entropy cannot be reduced. Entropy is increasing and supposed to increase. Starting from the Big Bang, thanks to Higgs and boson particle, the Big Bang, the universe start expanding, and expansion is still on. The the big theories of the space, anti-universe theories, all are there. But one thing is that space is expanding, expansions is there. So also in the social ecology, so also in the human psychic ecology. The amount of energy here, I'm just taking you to throwing some light on the social entropy. The amount of energy or motivation unavailable for doing a work or performance in a given process, in a given social system. Distinguished by models of negative behavior, alienation, anomie, and deviances. And the social entropy, AC, is equivalent to the degree of social dissatisfaction of certain social, economic, and political system. I can give you very simple example. Don't be part of much with the thermodynamics laws and physics. What is happening is that take care that human motivation is basically the energy. Technically, it is the electrical impulses. When you are motivated, then you are unleashed of certain energy. For example, and you know that every quality that can be, it is possible to have a quantifications. And then you can for data cleaning, data normalization, normal distribution curve, and you can go for parametric test and modeling, etc., etc. But the basic thing we need to understand one is the amount of motivation unleashed off. Yes. And the amount of achievement made, there is a gap. Some residual motivations are there. It is hitting the psychic components. So we feel restless. It is as equal, as applicable to a farmer, as applicable to a professor, as applicable to a husband, a wife, or any individual person. The problem is that always, whenever in his psychic process, he is being disturbed, what he expected to or promised to have, he is not getting happy, he is not having it. When he is promised, some amount of motivation is unleashed. But when he sees to his awe and shock that achievement is far, far less, then there is some residual motivation. It is hitting his psychic construct and he is feeling restless. That is how the entropy is being generated. And these are the, the non-performance, low productivity, fragility, and collapses are there. And left side, there is non-compliances, disagreement, conflicts are there, the W withdrawals are there, aggressions are there. And this is basically the social entropy theory. It is called set theory, macro sociological theory. And basically, in a social ecology, I'm just referring to Dr. Kenneth Bell's work and published in 1990. It is not just way back. A population P is situated within a given boundary, spatial boundary S, and possessing a certain level of information I, and technology T, level of living L, and organization O. Together, these comprise a set of 6 interrelated umbrella. It is called Pilot's model or pistol. You just see these are they are always that conflicting with each other in a given that social ecology. For example, in a community of farmers, there is a spatial boundaries are there, informations are there, technologies are there, organizations are operating, and level of livings or livelihoods are in concern. But mostly our economic researches are there, or social science researches are there, taking any one or two aspects, livelihood and socio-economic characters, or technology and adoption. My dear, we are missing the magnanimous, the magnum opus of social entropy, the system behavior. A model is the need of the hour, how best we can accommodate these different characters, functions, behavior, ultimately having a co-integration in the form of a social entropy model, so that we can calculate what is the amount of total disorders prevalent or prevailing in a social ecology. If you can manage the disorder, then perhaps we can best way add the orders. If we can calculate and audit on the entropy, best way we can have the social functions in place. But there is nothing. Only in terms of, the farmer's income बढ़ गया, उसका income कम गया, just go on declining, his income is increasing. This is so linear. We have to develop a model. Even, sometimes farmers, any individuals, motivational characters may outdo economic returns. Most of the suicides are there in 2 echelons. Farmers are committing suicide, have committed suicide in India. And, that I'm sorry to say that the Sushant case, I don't know. I don't want to mention it. But elite peoples, they are committing suicide. So elite peoples are committing suicide. I'm not mentioning any recent cases. I'm withdrawing it. So elite people, they are committing suicides. And the poorest, they are committing suicide, the farmers. The problem is that the social entropy, the psychological disorder, which he, she, or any persons of us could not comply with. If you can audit on the organizational disorder, first you audit on foreign organizational disorder, then you can go on adding orders in the form of training, capacity building, enabling process, lot of jargons are there. But before that, we have to audit on what is the amount of disorder. Like after having a healthy and hungry stomach, if we go on adding some food, if your stomach is upset, don't try to add more food to the stomach. Then there will be stomach upset and he will be collapsed ultimately. Exactly the same thing is happening there for any kind of individual, for any kind of institution, organization. You go on calculating and estimating what is the amount of disorder and entropy. After that, you go on redressing it. So social chaos and social entropy is there. Another is there. Chaos is one way, another way of estimating the entropy. It's, the Landsberg 1984, disorder is equal to CD by C1 and order is equal to 1 minus CD by C1, whereas CD is the disorder capacity of the system. The entropy is the part of content in the permitted ensemble, and C1 is the information system. What is happening is that our farmers are overloaded with information. All of the fertilizer dealers, pesticide dealers, they are entering and asking and loading the same farmers with lot of informations, and they are now part of, they are really under confusing system. This is Dr. Kenneth Bell. Hats off to Dr. Bell, who revolutionized the social science researches, and you can just search his work. I can see, I can go. Dr. Renisha, can I go for 5-7 minutes? Dr. Winson, hello. Yes. Hello. Hello. Anyone? Hello.
Hello.
How many minutes can I go for further? Hello, please.
You can go till 4:25, sir.
4:25. Okay. 4:27, please.
Okay.
Are you getting me correctly till now? I am audible and visible?
Yes.
Yes, fine. This is the most interesting that what is the mathematical part and statistical part. You just say, this is simple coefficients of correlation. You just see that these all research work, high-end research, PhD thesis research work, and some project research work. The outcome is there. I'm just moving faster. You just see non-compliances are increasing, and you find that when education is increasing, non-compliances are increasing. It is a departure from our classical traditional extension research. I am coming up in a different way. Most of my friends, some few are my very good friends, they are coming with me, but most of the extension research is coming in a different way. They are telling that we hire the extension, hire the education, higher will be the compliance. I will say, no, my dear friends, hire the education, the people will keep asking more questions, perceptual conflicts will be more. That is the non-compliances are there. Exactly the same thing is there. Innovation, when the innovation is increasing, then disagreement will be increasing. When that education will be increasing, conflict will be more. The people will keep asking more. Farmers are educated, they'll go on asking more. Their elevation level, their perception level, their expectancy will go high. This is a different models, you just see. And social entropy exactly will be increasing. It is a Wi-Fi basically. 5 components of unrest, disagreement, conflict combined together, and that's the square root having, and we can get the calculated value. And again, a set of 37 variables are there, and we have selected some few based on the regression contributions and coefficients, and after that we have this. And this is a path analysis model. I can see that attitude towards farmers will discontinue because they are contributing to non-compliances. They will discontinue your proposed practices because it is non-compliances. So the direct effect. Scientific orientation, direct effect, in addition to others indirect effect, that is a disagreement. When a farmer or any person will be scientifically oriented, he will keep disagreeing with you. This way, all this path analysis being done, and if you see that this is another way, we are, sorry. Sorry, yes. This is, that I am taking the canonical covariate, CCA. In this model, you will find that the social entropy has clandestinely selected the right side variable. Basically, it is a cross-loading. And through cross-loading, you will find that canonical covariate root 4, social entropy has, out of these 27 variables or odd, they have identified these few number of variables. So we can right away deal with the entropy by selecting these few variables. Another, you know that the right side variables, these and conflict, disagreement, non-compliances, and alienations are coming up here. And this is a artificial neural network. This is my another research scholars I have just taken this. That is out of the score of variables, these are the errors are being managed, and you find that communication is contributing to poverty. It is not the land, not the yield, but the communication sharing process is adding to the poverty level. That Y3 and 2 are dominant lines, and that is the hidden layers, and that is how it's a very complex process is there. It is artificial neural network. After that, we are having recombinations of regression analysis. Simple physiological stress and motivational poverty, they are contributing to with the highest regression coefficients to silent. People are silent because they are motivationally poor. They are having physiological stress. And this is again very complex artificial neural network. We have identified some of the swashbuckling variables which are characterizing the social ecology in terms of poverty, hunger, and silence at the same time cognitive domains. Another important, this is the Drishtikas models. The friend in my lab completed her MSc thesis on. Here you just find that different terrains of Himalaya, and they are having a clandestine and selectivity, which variables are most active in which terrains. The highest Darjeeling mobility variable is most active. In the medium Kalimpong, the treatment, they need the treatment is a very important variable, are most active. And in the doers or plains, these only status of the home, it is very much important. So geospatial and terrains are having a characteristics in what they call this kind of what they call that is the social entropy. This is the book Entropy Chaos. Entropy, chaos, and social ecology, the stress and response of it is there. It is a academic, Rathore academic publications, and S.K. Acharya and S.K. Sharma is there. Entropy and chaos, and it is the first book in Indian scenario. I can claim no other book I have seen so far on entropy, chaos, and social, or disorder and so on. And my dear friends, another important thing, the last one is that few seconds only. Yes, this is my last slide. It's just very fast time there. Very interesting. If you don't manage disagreement, it is all the stepwise regression analysis, and the last step having highest R-square value contribution in order they are arranged. Disagreement, people start with disagreeing with your propositions. And it is a supply driven system. We are having a kind of linear model which is redundant, but still we are desperately following it. So it is a disagreement. People will disagree with your propositions, with your recommendations, with your package of practices, but we don't pay attention to them. What they would do, the next variable predicted characters, that the criterion variables, non-compliant, they will start non-complying with you. After that, they will invite a conflict if this is not redressed. When they are conflicting, if it is not redressed, they will silently withdraw themselves from the main development process. When they are alienated, withdrawn, they will be alienated, and the individuals will behave like a Brownian particle in its volume of social ecology. They'll hitting with each other. No social goal, no sharing, no mainstream kind of rhetorics will be there. Individuals are so. In a family, husband will be a different laptop, wife has got another laptop, husband has got one TV, wife has got another TV, son has got another TV, televisions, and another mobiles, and is disaggregation with ourselves, disintegrated. Ultimately, me is disintegrated within me. Smaller, finest particle are hitting, interacting, conflicting in a small individual ecology to community ecology to social ecology. My dear friends, my suggestion should be number one, we have to audit on the social entropy. Otherwise, I think disasters are waiting for us. If you can't manage the social entropy, we can't manage it, our social progress and growth. How we can manage it? It is the slide which I'm missing there. One, you have to add more volume, more space to any organization, to an individual. Second option, yes, you just change the epicenter of this entropy. Third will be, that we add social networking will be there so that we can keep on sharing it. Last option will be simply we break it, let it the energy be emitted, and new equilibrium will be there. My dear friends, thank you for your patient hearing. This is really not just a presentation on mathematical modeling, but I'm a very small person. I'm trying to draw the attention of those who are in the 21st century social science researchers across the globe and world. Can you calculate the disorder first? Can you calculate and estimate the social entropy before jumping on climate management or soil management kind of things? Because it is a journey, intuitive learning process, an inner journey from a magnum opus to a very small thing. Small particles of existence and conflict will go on adding to the huge amount of entropy. Thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you, the organizers, for inviting me to deliver this keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Acharya. Thank you so much for giving a different dimension to the agriculture aspects and the farmer's plight. Anybody has any questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
Professor, I have one question.
Please introduce yourself, my dear friend.
Myself, Dr. Muhammad Shahzad. I am speaking from Oman.
Okay, great. Yes.
Uh,
Most welcome to
yeah.
India.
Thank you. Professor, this education, we take this one of the parameter and agriculture. So what kind of relationship you would like to give? Means if education will increase, then
No.
agriculture will go down.
No.
Are you agree with this?
Thank you for your brilliant
No.
questions. Let me respond to. Don't take entropy as good, bad, worse. Entropy is a character. Entropy is an inevitability. If we provide education to the farmers, they will keep asking questions. Our system has to change. It is a supply-driven system. We think that we are all experts. We know everything, and we are the giver and they are the receiver. These kind of attitude will invite a problem. So respect their questions. Entropies there will be there is here. If there is no disorder, there is no question of order. Old walls to be demolished to create a new wall. But you have to be very careful that whether we are disintegrating the people from the mainstream processes. If you educate the farmers, they will keep asking questions. Unfortunately, in many cases, our responses are not good enough to satisfy them or adding an order in their mind. For example, say GM crops, genetically modified crops. Do you think that we are able to satisfy all the farmers or satisfy their questions and queries? Number one. Number two, when we are recommending and educating them that follow and apply this amount of fertilizer, your productivity will go up. After that, we stop. Productivity gone up nicely, but in a worst manner, is not supported with market price. The farmers are suicide because they are not supported with market price. These kind of things will go on adding to a kind of disruptions, disorder and chaos. They will be disillusioned. So with the provisions of the education, then there will be a redressal system. There will be enough resilience in your educational ecology so that we can accommodate. It is expected upon asking questions. There's scientific, but that the higher the education, higher is the social entropy, because the farmers keep asking questions, demanding something more. At a point of time, we have failed to redress their need and demand. That there is a conflict. Say, an illiterate, quote unquote, not, I am not using the term uneducated, a farmer having poor literacy is not asking that much of questions. But when a farmer is having a graduation or post-graduation, certainly we are expecting, and he is expected to generate a lot of questions and queries. But in many cases, either we are avoiding them or we are inviting, you don't know nothing, anything. This is not an area. I am the expert. I am the government amla or officers. That kind of attitude will go on damaging it. So we have to take elements out of their questions and query, and our education system has to be enough resilient. Otherwise, this education system will collapse.
Okay, thank you.